Hello and welcome to an IB video. In this video, I'm going to talk about History Paper 2. I'm going to tell you how you can ace Paper 2 and achieve a 7, as this will be our goal grade for this whole tutorial series. In Paper 2, you will most likely get, you will get questions about about topics you have studied. There are many topics for options, and I'm not going to go into all of the topics your teachers might be able to teach you. I'm just going to talk about the paper in general. So this is a general guide. If you need more specific guides to like specific topics like authoritarian states or anything, I can make them. Just write your state or like your topic in the comments, and I'll try to look into it. So in case you're looking for a specific video, stop watching and maybe comment which topic you want covered. But in case you want a general approach, I'm going to talk you through it with a base example of authoritarian states, but you won't need an understanding of authoritarian states to go through this whole guide. So once you choose a question, it is important that you choose a question that you like. So just because, I don't know, your teacher told you that, I don't know, this type of question is good, I'm just drawing random scribbles, but you also get a second question which fits to your knowledge. Don't take question one if you just because your teacher likes it. Take the question you feel comfortable with. That's one of the most important things. But also think about, why did your teacher not recommend this? So he'll probably have a reason, or he or she will probably have a reason, but I mean, just don't follow the judgment blindly. So next, how are we going to approach this paper? Once we see the question, we're going to find 3 different ways to answer the question to have 3 paragraphs. So we're going to search for 3 different ways. One of these ways is often given in the question. So that means you only need to find 2 more ideas, which you probably should know beforehand, because you kind of know what to expect by looking at past papers and talking with your teacher. Like, you know what type of range of questions could come up, and you ideally have a plan for each question that could come up beforehand, so you don't spend too much time planning. But let's say you did prepare, you're watching this video 10 minutes before the exam, and you want to know how to ace it. So basically, this one way is given to you, so you find 2 other ways. Let's use an example. I don't know. Most of the ways are given in, for example, in authoritarian states, it's given in the IB guide, the syllabus. It tells you which things you have to study. For example, if it's about emergence of authoritarian states, there are economic factors and impact of war and things like that. So just think of these factors. These are like your categories, and these categories are what you always need to think in. Don't think in general terms, think in these categories. Yes. So now that you're planning these 3 categories and you're thinking about which categories to use, think about which category is the easiest to explain and could be linked. So because linking categories is a good thing to do in your essay. And this means that if you can link/compare them easily, it will give you a much higher mark. So for example, you have 3 categories. We're going to write category 1 here, category 2, and category 3. Often you're supposed to rank with significance, so we're just going to talk about that. So let's say you think category 1 is the most significant. If you're able to explain why category 1 is more significant than category 2 and category 3, and possibly why category 3 is more important than category 2, you'll have an excellent essay. So think about, whilst you're planning, if you can explain things like that, because this plan will ensure that you have the possibility to achieve a 7. And that's why it's important to plan. But remember, you have time. You're gonna have a difficult time finishing the exam at the time. So don't plan too long. Plan for like 5 minutes, I'd say. And so you've got the plan. You know what to do. Now, ideally, if you want to make sure you're gonna get a 7, this is not required, but this will boost your grade / put it a bit higher or enable you to get even higher grades, is know quotes from historians beforehand. And if you know them, write them down on the plan before starting the essay, because then you can't forget them. So quotes from historians are a very good tool you can use in your essay to really, I don't know, give a different perspective, because we're talking about perspectives here mainly. And these can either be used to support your argument, which is a bit weaker, or you can use them, for example, your opinion says, I don't know, category 1 is the most important. Most important. Now this source says, no. Or this perspective says category 2 is the most important. Now you might say, why would I write that in my essay? Why would I need such a perspective that discredits me? Well, this allows you to say, wait, this is the perspective. This allows you to say, the perspective is, I disagree. You can disagree with the perspective. And this allows you to explain in more detail why you think category 1 is more important. So this will enable you to explain better. But this is just, it's not necessary for the IB, it will just help you get a higher grade. So if you know quotes from historians, it's best to prepare them beforehand. And I'm gonna highlight this because many people underestimate it because it isn't required, but it's honestly a great tool that will help you score highly. So just keep that in mind. Okay, so now that we've got our general planning done, because that's just the way you're going through this in the exam, you're gonna write an introduction. And for the introduction, you're not going to spend too much time on it. First, you're going to introduce whatever topic you have. For example, in authoritarian states, you're going to introduce the two leaders you are writing about. So you're just going to quickly write a few facts. I don't know if you're talking about Castro talked about that he was a dictator in Cuba or something like that. Basically, introduce the topic in one sentence. And don't take longer. Because this won't give you lots of marks. This is just for structure. Now that we've introduced the topic in one sentence, we're gonna now judge. We're gonna make a judgment slash ranking. I don't know. No, we're gonna like enable the judgment. So we're gonna do a ranking. Now, for example, if we're still talking about the factors for emergence, we're just gonna talk about the most important factor. Most important. And this category would be category 1 is what we said, right? And then you're gonna, no, sorry, I just messed up. Okay, I'm sorry, it's fine. Now you can see that sometimes it's important to have the right order. So keep a clear mind. First, now we're gonna list the categories. This is one short sentence where you're gonna say there were many factors, for example, if we're talking about the factors that led to the emergence of, these include, and then you're gonna just list the categories. Don't take too long, don't explain them too long, just list them. And now we're gonna make a judgment by significant. For this, you can, for example, this is spelled wrong, but you know what I mean. For this, you can use the word whilst to start the sentence, which is a very good word to start with. So we're going to say something like, whilst this category was the most significant in this dictator's emergence, because then we're going to write, for example, we're just going to write, I don't know, Castro, whilst Castro, and then because, and then we're going to say category 2, for example, I'm just saying random things, was more important for another dictator, dictator 2, we're going to say, because. And this will basically, if you're doing a comparative essay with two ideas or two topics, allow you to really understand, really get the high marks because you're judging. And you just need to explain this. This is basically the main structure you're going to use in your essay as well. But now we're going to go to the 3 paragraphs sorted by category. And these, you're going to start with one category. You're going to choose, let's start with category 1 to just make it chronological. You don't have to start with the most important, it doesn't matter. So first you're going to explain it from one side. Dictator 1. This means we're just going to focus on this dictator. No, don't talk about the other dictator. Just, well, this is basically just authoritarian states example, but just talk about the one topic. Then we're going to make a judgment. Again, we're going to say, was this the most important? Why was it not? What was more important? Basically, just never forget this. And then we're going to switch to dictator 2. And we're going to explain this again. And here we're going to first of all do a judgment, but also leave small comparisons to dictator 1 in this category. And this will be the ideal structure for your essay, for each paragraph. In each paragraph, we're just going to go into one more detailed hint. We're going to use quotes from historians, which can be brought up in judgments. They're great for judgment because you can make an opinion that disagrees and then judge why you think that's the not the case. So this is ideal for judgment. And you're going to use facts during explanations. You're going to learn a few facts, statistics. I don't know, 90% of the country was poor or something like that. And you're going to include these during your explanations. Don't make too many of them, but just ensure that you show you did your research. And that's basically the whole body paragraph if you repeat this 3 times. In the conclusion, you're gonna just summarize your judgment and then again state which category was most important for which dictator. So that's basically summarize overall judgment. And then we're gonna just which category, which dictator. So like, I don't know, category 1, dictator 2, category 2, dictator 1, something like that. And then basically you've got your essay. If you've got any questions, please write your questions in the comments. I hope you're gonna nail your history paper 2 and get the 7. Remember, that's your goal. Keep working until you get it. I know it's fairly hard in history, but I'm sure you can manage if you follow these tips and maybe look at a few other videos. I'm going to try to increase this series and do some more videos, so if you need any help and want any specific history topic to be covered, please just write in the comments and then I'll tell you exactly what to do. Thank you for listening.